Oh, hi there, everyone. Today I wanted to talk about my experience on the train yesterday. Uh, what had happened was I'm wearing my Chicago Blackhawks jersey, Jonathan Taves, uh, with my coat on, obviously. So, I'm wearing a nice shirt and got an expensive coat on because it's a little bit raining. Um, So anyway, I'm facing towards the door, but behind the bar, it's in the middle of the train. For people to hold on to when the train's moving. So I'm facing there, and about halfway through the journey, this native guy gets on the train. Uh, yeah, fatter, older. He had a gray hoodie over his head, which I think should be illegal. I don't think you should be allowed to wear your hoodie on for no reason, especially indoors. Uh, some people are going to disagree with that, especially people who think that women should be able to wear the hijab and cover their faces. I mean, I was wearing a ball cap, a Chicago Blackhawks sports hat, but that's completely different. That's not covering your face, that's just covering your head in case it rains. A hijab doesn't cover your head if it rains. It's still going to rain on you, and in fact, it's going to make it worse for you, actually, because then the moisture's on the cloth that's around your head. It's not going to, fall on the thing and fall off. But anyway, um, and that's the same thing with a hoodie. But anyway, so I thought that was suspicious. I immediately think anyone's suspicious who indoors is wearing a hoodie. And they're wearing shitty clothes. I mean, that is being judgmental. It is reading a book by its cover, but it's just a fact of life. Um, if it's not raining outside or it's very cold, you have no reason to be wearing a hoodie and no reason to be hiding your face. Uh, yeah, so that aside, I could see this guy staring at me. I mean, he was pretending to read his freebie newspaper, but I know he wasn't reading it. He was giving me the dirty look. Because him being native and me wearing a Chicago Blackhawks jersey, he could see that. He didn't like it because he knew that it meant that I had money and I have the image of a Native American on my shirt that I'm wearing. And he didn't have money, and well, petty jealousy. Anyway, he was a fair-sized guy, I suppose. Anyway, I could see from an angle, from his front hoodie kind of pocket, the kind of the big pockets they have in front of hoodies. It had something black in it. I don't know what it was. It wasn't a cell phone. I guess it could have been a wallet. I don't know. I mean, I wasn't going to ask him. Anyway, I'm getting near my stop, which means I have to go around him to get to it. And he's blocking up quite a bit of the room. I didn't think about it. I was, it was my normal routine. So I walk past him, and my backpack accidentally brushes against him. And I hear him say, "If I were younger, I'd smack you up the head." And, any thought of me apologizing at that point was gone. There was no way I was going to apologize after someone gave me that kind of attitude. Uh, I was confident he wasn't going to do anything. He wasn't physically fit to. Maybe he was a bit wiser than he appeared. I don't know. There was too many people around, especially a lot of old women. But he had to know I wasn't gonna just roll over and cower in front of him. But he never actually turned around to say that to me. Like, he was facing the way I was before I went around him, still pretending to read his freebie newspaper. So when I was around him, I was looking at the reflection through the window So I had my back turned to him, but I can see perfectly well through the reflection of the window. It's a simple little thing to do. So I would know if he were gonna, turn around and do something, like before, like he could do it. So I simply said, "You'd regret it." I didn't mean anything sinister by it, but I was letting him know, no, you can't just go around exercising attitude, and no, if you think you can get away with doing stuff, then you're not going to. I wasn't interested in starting a fight, but at the same time, if push comes to shove, if you think because I'm wearing an expensive shirt that I'm one of these typical, middle class Canadians who's just gonna do anything to get out of a confrontation, not necessarily. Like, I have partial asthma, I think. So running away isn't something I can do if things go bad, which is the mechanism a lot of people have is fight or flight. They just disappear. I don't have that, but I'm 6 foot, 200 pounds. I can take care of myself. And that's indicative of my personality as well. Like, with him, I knew he wasn't gonna do anything because he didn't have the advantage and he knew it. And I let him know he didn't have the advantage. And again, me wearing expensive clothing doesn't mean I'm just gonna roll over for this guy. If someone thinks just because I'm wearing a hockey jersey that if they come up and give me attitude, they're gonna get my jersey or do whatever it is they want to do, you're wrong. That's not going to happen. I don't mean to appear to be deceiving people into thinking, oh, he's tricking people into thinking he's dressed expensive, but really he's looking for a fight. No, that's not the truth at all. I like dressing the way I do. I don't like dressing like a serf, a peasant. I take great pride in the way I dress. Of course, when you're wearing, a bright orange Anaheim Ducks alternate jersey, people are gonna notice. I don't have a problem with getting the odd look. One person even said that's a sign of mental illness, wearing an Anaheim Ducks jersey. I disagree, because they don't understand the greater picture of hockey. Anyway, so the end result is he didn't do anything, and then the train stopped. I got off at my stop. I ran up the stairs. He may have turned around and looked and went, "Oh, the coward, he's running away." That's not true either. I run up those stairs every day. It's just one of these things I like doing. Don't ask me why. I just like doing it. I didn't do anything out of the ordinary. I mean, it wouldn't be normal to not be slightly paranoid that he may do something because you just don't know with people. You never know what's going to trigger them. Like, he looked like, maybe a fat, drunken marijuana smoker or something. Like, he didn't look like a crackhead or anything like that. He was too fat. So, it has to be considered. But another thing to be considered, and I knew my critics will try labeling me as paranoid for saying this, but it's definitely a possibility. And if it's a possibility, and you consider it, that's not paranoia. No matter how outlandish it is, if it's possible, and you take it from a reasonable standpoint, is not paranoia. Okay, and here's what I'm going to say. He was native. He had something in his pocket. And I had made a video on social media saying how I was going to stiff Indian Affairs out of $5,000, because I don't consider it $6,000 because I did take the initial injection. Yeah, I made that video because I didn't like what the medicine was doing to me. I never did, and all this was being paid for by Native Affairs, and me being a white man, they obviously didn't care that I was in great discomfort because white men had done that to Native guys for a long time. Discrimination still exists. So anyway, me saying that, it isn't that far-fetched for them to go, well, higher up the chain, they sent some goon down to, I don't know, maybe try and ruffle my feathers, see how I react. Maybe he was a big body who intentionally was in the way. Maybe he intentionally overreacted because he wanted to create some sort of incident, because he knows from the guys who paid for my medicine that I'm no longer on that antipsychotic medication or in any antipsychotic medication. And they cooked up a scheme with mental health and Native Affairs to put me back on it. And what they needed was an incident. So they wanted something to happen and them just look at my record, bam, put them back in mental health. Because the bottom line is that's what mental health wants. They want me back on medication. They don't like the idea of me not being on it. They don't like the idea of me not thinking what they want me to think. They don't like the idea of their system not working. And they don't like the idea that the way they go about things justifies the end. They don't want to believe that they're abusive, that their medicine is just abusive. And that is not far-fetched at all for me to think that this native came along and may have had the interest in starting a fight with me to create an incident so that the authorities would get called, so that I would be put back on medicine. And then therefore, the Native Affairs wouldn't have wasted $5,000 or whatever it is. I mean, the internet says it's really expensive medication, and I believe it, but there's a lot of aspects of that I don't know, but it's just, it's possible. I don't think that's what happened, but it's entirely possible. There's just so many different factors involved, and I read up the definition of paranoid, and it says there in plain English. Well, let me read it for you for a second. A mental condition characterized by delusions of persecution, unwarranted jealousy, or exaggerated self-importance, typically elaborated into an organized system. I am being persecuted, literally, with the medication I've been on and how it's made me feel, the stigma, the labeling that people have done against me. That's not paranoid, that's the truth. That is completely warranted. Delusions of persecution. Yes, that's true. Not paranoid. Unwarranted jealousy. Again, there is proof. I'm wearing a Chicago Blackhawks jersey, as well as 30 other jerseys, and I live in a nice house, and I eat nice food all the time. And the native guy was wearing a fucking dirty old hoodie. Unwarranted jealousy? No. Exaggerated self-importance. Well, I don't know. Mental health, although they've done a very good job of hiding it, is very angry of the fact that I'm not on their medication anymore. Being important doesn't mean you're liked. And I know a lot of people don't like me. Not because I've done anything, but because they just don't like my opinions on life, and they go, well, there have been other people who have had similar opinions as you, and they've been wrong about certain things. And we want to stop that sort of personality from developing. I'll make a video about that later. It's no question about it that mental health knows very well on my YouTube channel. It don't have to say the views on the bottom corner that I got 1,000, 5, 20, 10,000, whatever. It doesn't have to say that for it to be proof. Because I accused indirectly mental health of being habitual liars. And if you know me, you would know I try not to lie. I try to tell the truth. I try to say things exactly as how I perceived them. Okay, sometimes I'm not right about something, but so is everybody. I mean, yeah, getting back to the train thing, not much came of it, but isn't that kind of, like, it's just an ordinary story for a lot of people. Like, a lot of people, particularly when they're in a car and they're driving, they have road rage and all kinds of issues like that, or they got, just issues with people. So this is ordinary stuff, but one thing I know is nobody approaches me about anything, which is getting back to the delusions of persecution and unwarranted jealousy. Nothing ever seems to happen in my life. Nobody ever says anything definitive. I'm an anomaly. I have an active social media account. I've been in mental health. I tell people if they ask me, I'll tell them what they want to know. I've been in mental health. And unfortunately, we do live in a society that's still filled with prejudice and discrimination. And you will get stigmatized for being in mental health, because they'll just assume you did something wrong. And that's not always the case. And for me, you got nothing. Nothing that I shouldn't just get a slap on the wrist for. So what if I put a video up on my Facebook about World War IV? So what? So what if I put a clip up of They Live? Or what else did I put up there? I also put a clip of a Santa Claus is coming to town. With the evil warlock. Anyway, that's not important. I gotta say this, man. Like, there's no way that there hasn't been some kind of a reaction to what I've said on social media, how I go about my life, and things are too quiet. That's the old adage. If something's too quiet, something's wrong, and you're being watched. And the thing is, if anyone acknowledges this on YouTube, that'll just prove my point, which is glaringly obvious to everybody else, but it's supposed to be a mystery to me, and it's supposed to be a mystery so that they can say, he's being paranoid, he's being delusional, he doesn't understand things. He's going to get globus hystericus if he finds this out. I haven't been conditioned to properly deal with that kind of stress. So, I probably would, just fall to pieces. It's not because I couldn't mentally handle it. It would be a physical thing. I just couldn't do it. But if I got into a bit more normal social circumstances, if I didn't have to go to the internet to get intellectual stimulation, if people actually talk to me like a fucking human being instead of like dirt all the fucking time, then maybe, just maybe, I can condition myself to function properly in society. But the doctors, they don't like that either. They want you to go, no, you're defective. You need medicine. You need to be singled out and isolated. Treated like an oddity. Nobody likes you. And they'll do anything to do that. They'll even say slanderous things on purpose. In fact, a lot of people do that. That's their mechanism. Is they'll stab you in the back. It seems to be the Canadian way. I can't deal with you face to face, so I'm just going to stab you in the back when no one's looking. Anyway, the bus story has elaborated into a bit more of a complicated situation. I meant this video to be more about the bus story and how, that happens every day for most people, or, similar things, or, that happens every now and then, or whatever. But I'm just trying to add another dimension to that and say, yes, I did shaft a government institution of money, and they deserved it after the way they treated me. Absolutely deserved it. I don't even feel the slightest bit bad about it. It is more than possible that they sent an agent to rile my feathers to create an incident and have me put back on medicine. In fact, if they don't do that, then that is more suspicious. Because they're sore losers. A lot of people are. Sometimes, coming second best isn't good enough and really sucks. But imagine that for other people who have a greater understanding of the situation and they lose. Can't hack it. Don't like it. So, yes, I have my eyes open. I do think about things. And, it just isn't paranoia. And I would explain this to my doctors. Not that they give me the time to, not that they want to have this discussion. Not that they want to do anything. They want to keep everything the same as it is. That's the whole point. So that I just accept my reality. And that's the problem I have, is that I don't think things are as good as they could be. I don't think I'm getting enough intellectual or social stimulation. I don't actually have a girlfriend. That's another bothersome thing. And a whole lot of other things to consider when that finally gets into the game. The thing is, lack of evidence is evidence. Nothing happens, and it doesn't matter what I do. It's like, I don't want to say it, but it's like that stupid video Kristen Dunst, Turning Japanese, where she's like riding a bicycle through Tokyo, or wherever the hell they are, and she's all like dressed like a hentai character, and everyone's just ignoring her. That is not me. But, Chicago Blackhawks jersey in not that town, it's, kind of the same idea, but, different. It's like I said, I just made a video on social media a couple of months ago denouncing mental health. I made several denouncing mental health, and I've gotten no reaction. And that's because I am being watched, I am being observed, and the people who are doing it are very cowardly. Perhaps one day I'll see things from their perspective. We're never going to agree with each other on the treatment plan for me. If if me and one of the guys has a hockey fight, and I put on their lab coat and I become one of them, I will not agree that this treatment plan will work on somebody with similar circumstances as me at this present time. I think the system is flawed. I just There are things that I don't know and impossible for me to learn, and things I have to take into consideration. But as of right now, patient to doctor, I don't agree with you, and I never will. And it doesn't matter what you do or what you say, you're a habitual liar, and you're always gonna be one. That's it. So I covered a number of topics here. Hopefully someone who watched my video will get some ideas. Because that's part of the thing is, like, I could present my ideas a bit better on YouTube. I have a lot of great ideas on my channel, but I didn't present them as well as I'd like to have. Wasn't anything wrong with them, I just could have said them a bit better. And anyway, I think I'm going to get a John Cena hat. Not because I particularly like the guy. I mean, a lot of people do, but I don't know. I didn't think he was that interesting. But you see me, fuck you. Anyway, see you later.